Hey, this is John at Happy Wife Acres. Say, if you had a whole bunch of chickens to process, you'd probably take them somewhere, or maybe you'd invest in the equipment to do it at home. But what if you only had one chicken or two chickens to process? Then what would you do? I'm going to show you how to do it with the bare minimum. So when we process chickens, we have about $1,000 worth of equipment wrapped up in a butcher table, some kill cones. We have a plucker that'll run you about $650. We've got buckets and tubs and hoses and drying equipment. Let's talk about what you really need just to do one or two chickens. This is stuff you've already got. A good knife, a piece of string or rope strong enough to hold a chicken, a garden hose with a sprayer, a cutting board, and a pot for some hot water. You want to go really fancy? Bring a couple of buckets, a pair of scissors, maybe a rag. Now the hardest part, and the part that's probably bringing you the most stress about it, is the killing. And there's a lot of ways to kill or dispatch a chicken. The one we like to use is the halal style, which just means you cut the throat. We think that the throat slice is the most humane, and that is because when an animal loses blood pressure, it is immediately unconscious. And so what happens next, the dying process, the animal just isn't there. So first I want to demonstrate using our trainer. So this is our fancy trainer. It consists of a garden hose with a bolt through it and a very dull knife. The chicken will be hung upside down. I will grab by the jawbone, represented by this bolt, hold the neck tight. I will take the knife, and at a 45-degree angle from the front, I will just push in and cut the throat. I will then bend the neck, and it will bleed. Once you get a bleed, you know the chicken is unconscious, and you did it right. Please have a sharp knife, and don't do this. Just put it in, push it. Don't turn your wrist, don't cut yourself. Sharp knife, tip, push in, open up the neck, bleed. This is a fillet knife. It has a blade that curves upwards, and the blade is very flexible. However, any good sharp knife is going to do you well. This is a piece of paracord, but again, any string or rope that will support the weight of the chicken is going to do good. All I'm going to do, I want to make a very simple noose. I'm just going to make a loop. I'm going to bring this piece around and tie a loose knot. Tie it here. Okay, so just tie a loose knot on the end. I'm going to put the chicken's feet in it, and he'll just hang by his feet for a few seconds until I can grab the knife. I'm going to use this old swing set frame, but you could use a limb on a tree, or you could use the side of a fence. Just anything to support the rope. I'm going to tie it right here. Now it's time to go get the chicken. This is about a 6-month-old rooster. He's an excess rooster, and we have no need for him here on the farm. Again, this is a young rooster. He has no redeeming qualities as a good rooster, so we wouldn't even consider keeping him. He's not nice to the girls. He's going to feed us or someone else. I'm going to load him in here. He's going to be upside down. He's going to get a little calm because he's upside down. He may flop a little. I'm going to hold on to his neck, and I'm going to extend it just a little bit, and that will help him to stay calm. I will not be able to show the killing on here on YouTube, but I can show the before and the after. So it'll take him about 3 minutes to bleed out, and then after about 3 minutes he'll be all calm. He won't be moving anymore. I'm going to get fancy. I brought a bucket and a pair of scissors. I'm just going to remove his head at this point, and the bucket is just for the guts. I'm just going to cut right through where you made the slice. Go in the bucket. So here's another pro tip. Get your hot water going. You don't want to put it on the stove at this point. Make sure it's already hot. Gonna take him out of the rope, take him over to the hot water. The bucket of hot water, normally when we process using the plucker, we want the water to be 152 degrees. This is not so critical. You want it to be at least 135, but if it's hotter, it's okay because you're doing this by hand. So it's about a gallon and a half in there, just enough to cover the bird. There's a little bit of soap in there. That's just going to cut through the oily feathers. And I'm going to hold it by the feet. I'm not going to burn myself. I just want to get the water all over the chicken. So I'm going to make it go up and down, twirl, side to side. You're going to do this for 15-20 seconds. Then we're going to test. We're going to take the middle wing joint and we're going to pull a feather, and if it comes out pretty easy, it's good to go. Oh, that just fell out. We are good. If it's still warm, don't burn yourself. And there's no real trick to it. You just keep pulling feathers till there's no feathers. If you got some tough ones, you can go back and re-dunk him. It should take me about 15 minutes. I am going to time myself. And if he dries out too much, I'll just give him a squirt. Actually, it took me right at 7 minutes. So, a little faster than I thought. Yes, it is labor intensive, but you're only doing one. And I did rip the wing a little bit. I'm not too worried about that because I'm the one who's going to eat it. Look for any other feathers, usually under the legs, under the wings. So now we're going to cut him up and eviscerate. Alright, so here's the chicken. And I'm going to do 3 things. First, I'm going to take off the bottom half of the legs. I'm going to roll them over. There's a knuckle here and a knuckle here. I'm just going to go down in the valley, not cutting bone. I'm just going down between the 2 bones. Wiggle the knife a little bit, and it'll come right off. All right, there's a foot. Same thing here. This is the tail. We take the tail off because there's an oil sac right here. Why do you buy chickens with tails on them? Because it weighs an ounce. You get to pay an extra ounce for something you're not going to eat, throw away anyway. Okay, that cuts off. And up at the neck, see, here's the shoulder, here's the end of the neck. I'm going to come down about halfway, and I'm going to make a score. I got a sharp knife. I'm not trying to cut anything except the skin. I'm just going to grab my hand, pull that off, throw that in the bucket. And what you'll see, this is the trachea. It kind of feels like a worm. And then you've got the esophagus that goes down to the crop. The crop is right here. So if you're doing it right, you should have withheld feed the night before from the bird. It means that there's less poop in him, and this isn't all full of food. You don't need that. So I need to separate the esophagus and the crop from the skin here, and it's attached to the breast. So I'm trying to get that out. It's not an easy job. It's very slippery. The younger birds, it comes out a lot easy. There you go. It just pulls away. It's stuck here, stuck here. Take this, pull that down. There we go. Then I'm going to put my finger in here and loosen up. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going to pull everything out from this end, and I want the top stuff to slide through. So I'm going to move my fingers around inside. I can feel the lungs. Yes, it's warm. Of course it's warm. Loosening up the lungs. I can feel the heart. Loosening that up. Okay. As I'm doing it out here on the table, I'm going to keep spraying because I want him to stay moist. I don't want him to dry out. Alright, did the 3 things. Got rid of the feet, got rid of the tail, loosened up the crop and the esophagus. I'm going to come around to this back end. This is the vent, right here at the tip of the knife. It's the only hole back there. I'm going to go about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch above that. I'm going to pinch it, pull it up. I'm going to make a slice. Okay. I don't want to cut any intestines. I'm going to make a hole big enough to get my hand in. I'm going to reach in. The first thing I'm going to feel is a gizzard. It's hard. I'm going to hook it with my finger. Pull it out. When you pull out the gizzard, you'll notice the stuff on this end is going to start coming through because I loosened it up properly. Pull that on through. That is the crop. That's what gets filled with food. So this is the mouth side, then it stays here, then goes on down to get processed into the gizzard. Alright, that's out. So I'm just going to reach my hand in there and just start pulling out things. I'm going to pull out the heart, the lungs, and since it's a boy, I'm going to pull out the testicles. That is a chicken testicle, and I'm telling you, that is huge. It normally is about the size of a bean. So that explains his behavior. There's the other one. The lungs are buried into the ribs, and so you have to use your fingers to kind of work them out. There's a thing called a lung puller. Don't waste your money. It's a unitasker. You can do it with your fingers. There's part of the lungs. It's very bright red. Good healthy chicken. Once the guts are out, what you're left with is the poop chute. Okay? So the poop chute is connected over here to the vent. I'm gonna go down one side. I'm gonna go down the other side. Then I'm going to come across and I'm cutting the whole thing out. Okay? Now the guts are separate from the chicken. Spray this off a little. Spray him down some more. Here's the liver. This is the gallbladder. It's got some nasty green bitter fluid inside of there. You don't want that at all if you're going to save the liver. So just cut that out. Sacrifice some of the liver to get to it. Okay, got bucket. There's your liver. This is your heart. It's going to come in a sack. So I'm going to cut the top off. There's a little sack. Got bucket. There's your heart. Chickens eat the part I cut off. The gizzard has 2 tubes, one going in, one coming out. This right here is the spleen, and chickens love that. So this is all gut. It's just going to go in the gut bucket. Actually, this is the trachea, and I cut it up for the chickens. They love it. I give them the lungs too. I know it's gross, but they love it. I even give them the testicles. Yes, they love that too. I cut it up into bite-sized portions. If you want to save the gizzard, just cut it open. That'll be his last meal. There's some corn and grain in there. There's also a liner. So grab the edge and just pull that off of the gizzard. you got a dog, you can feed the gizzard, the liver, the heart to them. They will love it. Also the feet. Freeze them. It's a nice treat. With my other bucket, I'm going to put some water in here, and so we can keep some of these parts and the chicken. So with what's left here is the chicken, and I'm just going to spray the insides out, rinse out any parts that may have been left behind. Give it a check. Pull out anything that don't belong. Up here on the neck, you could cut it off with your knife, but you know, since I'm uptown and brought some good scissors, I'm just going to chop that off. Put that in the save bucket. If you make stock later, you're going to want to use this. There you go, chicken. Now, if you want to eat this, put it in the oven or on the stove right away, and I mean like within an hour. If you want to save it for later, let it rest for about 2 days at least, maybe 3 for better tenderness. But take it inside, give it the once over there, pull off any feathers. If you see some hairs, no big deal. Just don't try to take them off. Just cook it. I'm going to put it here in the bucket so it stays wet, and then I will take it inside. Stick it in the fridge. Those feathers you collected, just throw them out onto the garden. You can also throw out the guts too, and wild critters at night will come and eat them. If you don't want to throw the guts out, then just put them in a zip seal bag, throw them in the trash can. But in the springtime, you till all these feathers in, it's great to compost under the soil. And if you throw out feathers, your chickens will come along and eat the little ones. Did I make it look easy? Because it is easy. You've got all the equipment you need just to do 1 or 2. You've got a good knife. You've got a piece of rope. You got a good pair of scissors maybe. You got a cutting board. You got a garden hose. You can do this. Hardest part, again, is that psychological impact. Because you probably raised that little chicken from a baby and you've held him and you gave him a name. But you know, if you don't do something about it, somebody's going to call you. They're going to report you to zoning, and next thing you know, you're getting a $150 fine because they came out and said, you can't have roosters out here. Respect that rooster by eating him. Let him fulfill the last great part of his life. He lived a good life. So don't just throw him away, give him away. Feed him to your family. And you're going to have probably one of the best chicken meals you've ever had. If you can't do it, then you can always donate him to a farm like ours. Hope that was helpful. Please subscribe, hit that bell so you'll be notified of more videos in the future. And we will see you soon on the homestead. Bye.